Okay, so all three of these sculptures are now ready for papier mâché. The donut is ready when you've got your brown tape layer on it and it's feeling nice and hard. Your cake slice will be ready when it's kind of, you've got all the detailing on it that you want, and you've taped it and it's ready. And this is your cupcake ready. It's been formed, but now we need to create a paper shell around it. Papier mâché is going to dry nice and hard and give us a great surface for painting on. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to chop up some of your newspaper into smaller pieces. Pieces about this big, okay? You don't want it too big. It's really important that you don't have pieces that are too big because they won't stick down properly and you'll have a really sloppy, messy papier mâché piece, which is hard to paint. So what you want to do is you want to take a smaller piece and you dip it in your glue, get rid of the excess, and then you place it onto your work using your fingers to smooth down where you want it to go. Okay, and as it dries, it will dry really nice and hard. Okay, you want to make sure that the pieces overlap. That's very important when we're papier mâchéing. Okay, so really get rid of the extra glue. You want to make sure you don't leave a gap like that because then you will have dry, weird bits that won't paint nicely. You absolutely have to cover each area and really push it down. And you want a nice, smooth finish. Okay, now I'm going to show you that on the donut because it might be a bit more clear. So with the donut, you can see we've got all these gaps from the brown tape and that is fine. But the papier mâché will help us cover all that up. Okay. So getting rid of what I don't need. And I'm placing that on and it will smooth down beautifully onto the surface. Okay, pick up your next piece. Try not to get glue all over your work. It's good to cut it before because otherwise when your hands are all gluey, it's really hard to get your newspaper off. And you can see here, I am laying a piece on top to make sure they overlap and I'm pushing it down and pushing it down and making sure it's really smoothed in and smoothed on. So dip in your paper, get rid of the excess, press it on. And you can see here, I'm really smoothing it over. And finally, I just want to show you, it's the same thing on the cake slice. You take a piece and what it will do is it will hold your details in place beautifully. Okay, so I'm going to go over there and then push around my details and it will hold them beautifully in place. Okay, get rid of your excess glue and make sure your pieces overlap. Work around the whole piece and we want to cover all of your sculpture to provide you with a beautiful base for painting. And you can see that on this piece of work here, which has been, you can see it's very evenly papier mâchéed. You can see that the pieces are overlapping, so there are no holes in it and it's going to be nice and easy to paint. I just want to talk you through one more error that students make. An error that students make is they'll take too large a piece. And what happens when you take too large a piece, so let's say I get that in the glue, and I get rid, because I think I'm bored, I want to get this done quickly, and I'm just going to throw it over and see what happens. And what will happen is, it's really hot, you'll start getting creases because you can't get the piece round. you get pieces sticking up and you lose detail in your work and it becomes messy and gappy and blobby. And that is why we insist on nice, small pieces of papier mache to ensure you don't lose the lovely detail, that you get a nice, clean painting surface. Okay? So make sure nice, small pieces. And that is how you will get a lovely paintable surface.